Tiana's Bayou adventure has been a disaster for the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World Resort. Now they're getting ready to open it at Disneyland. People are making fun of it, but, well, they're not done with it just yet, because now Disney appears ready to sunset and retire a big ride beside it for an entire year. And maybe, just maybe, only so they can prove, quote unquote, that Tiana's is really popular. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the happiest, most magical place on Earth. Yeah, we've got both of them here. And, well, that's better than Disney World and Disneyland at the moment. We don't even charge you $200 a day to stay with us. But, folks, we are here to stay with you and say to you that Tiana's Bayou Adventure has some proving to do. And it's no good when Disney decides to close Big Thunder Mountain Railroad for an entire year, perhaps just to make you forced near to a ride that people wish were never there in the first place. Let's talk about it with the panel. You click the like button. We'll bring the info right now. This out of Disney Tourist Blog by Tom Bricker. And boy, oh boy, I just continue to enjoy this website. I think Tom does a wonderful job. Apologies, Tom, if that hurts you with my endorsement. I don't know. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad closing for refurbishment at Magic Kingdom until 2026. All right, here's what it says. Disney World has officially confirmed a lengthy ride refurbishment of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Magic Kingdom starting in 2025 and lasting all the way through 2026. Here's everything we know about this Walt Disney World ride closure. First, this Big Thunder Mountain Railroad closure is the third major refurbishment that we first covered months ago. It follows the month-plus closure of Peter Pan's Flight over the summer, which gave us a new scene with Tiger Lily and the, well, I'm not even going to say Indians, the native, what would it call them? The
indigenous peoples. They just
no. What do they call them? They give them a new name. They give them a new name. The Neverland Tribe. That's what they're calling them now.
Oh, that.
Yeah, they officially changed their name. Following this, Jungle Cruise closed for a month because it was falling apart. The final major refurbishment of the trio is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Our suspicion was and is that Walt Disney World was waiting for other pieces of the puzzle to wrap up, and including Tiana's Bayou Adventure before announcing the closure of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. It says Tiana's Bayou Adventure is still using a virtual queue with no sign of it going away anytime soon. Walt Disney World originally stated that the virtual queue would only be used during the initial opening days of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The ride has now been open for several months. It goes on to talk about how probably the reason that it's had the virtual queue is because it can't stay open. So you got to use the virtual queue to hide that. Walt Disney World has now announced that Big Thunder Mountain Railroad will close for refurbishment on January 6th. The last day is January 5th. And it will reopen in 2026. And you can see what they plan to do with the Cars Land. We've talked about this before. It's a horrible, terrible, awful idea, and it will damage the park and damage attendance and damage Disney as a brand. But hey, that's what they plan. But the idea that that taking out Tom Sawyer Island has anything to do with this long refurbishment, no, I don't think so at all. In fact, what I think is happening here is they're going to do some minor refurbishments that should take 1 or 2 months. And then they're going to leave this attraction closed. And remember, I said should. Then they're going to leave this attraction closed all the way through doing the work on it that will come with the island. But they're not going to close Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America until late in 2026. So what's really going on here? Why do they have to close this attraction for a full year when it's not getting anything close to what would take a year to do? Well, my speculation, folks, is that really what's happening here is they need to make Tiana look like it's a popular attraction. And the best way you can drive the line up for Tiana's Bayou Adventure once it comes off virtual queue is take away the only other major attraction in Frontierland. And in that way, you can make Tiana's look like it is successful. I don't suspect that they will end the virtual queue for Tiana's until Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is being refurbished. Ron, you're an expert on the parks. What say you, sir?
Yeah, they are absolutely using the virtual queue to mask the popularity of the ride and the fact that it breaks down constantly. I don't see how that works out when you've got Big Thunder down and then also Tiana's down half the day every day or all day most days. It's Yeah, a lot of people may not understand. If you haven't been to Magic Kingdom before, if you go to Big Thunder Mountain, you're backed into a corner. That is the last attraction that you can get to when you're walking that direction. Tiana's comes just before it. So if you happen to get off the train at Frontierland, those are the two attractions that you get off the train to go to, Big Thunder or Tiana's. I don't think it's a great idea to have Big Thunder down that long. I don't know what they're doing. I still think they're absolutely ruining the whole thing with Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer's Island. Even if they wanted to change the theme of those, I don't know. I got this idea in my head the other day. Why don't they just make Tom Sawyer's Island and kind of an introduction to the Villain's Land, which would be far more phenomenal? They don't need it. I don't know. It's a tangent, I know, but I just think it's the way they are running Magic Kingdom right now is completely convoluted to begin with. So nothing they do makes any sense to me.
Well, they also go ahead, Culture.
Well, this was always part of the plan, though. I mean, creating the artificial scarcity was a concept they talked about all the way back in 2012. And when they started testing the Magic Bands publicly in 2013, you still had Legacy Fast Pass available, but it kind of, showed you what the demand pattern could be. And by artificially manipulating that, they further progressed that concept into what we have with these virtual queues. They're creating additional artificial scarcity, and they're running rides at less than full capacity regularly now to try to control traffic. And I guess ride balance isn't a bad thing, but when you're trying to drive traffic to what is now one of your least attractive attractions, you're not going to be able to manipulate people. People, especially if people are hip, right? And more people know that you have to do homework before you go to the Florida theme parks. And guess what? That means you're going to come across channels like this one and yours, Ron, and hopefully Erica's channel and other people who do theme park coverage, Lorena Creole, and all of my friends that still do that, right? Jay, Drunk 3PO, over at Park Hoppin'. But you have all these places, right? That park place, we talk about this, and they're going to become informed. If you have 10 channels telling you that you are being actively campaigned against to get you to ride something that is in an inferior experience, you're going to start to develop a negative opinion about Disney. And people who actually experience it after watching and having it reinforced by their videos they've watched, reinforced by their experience at the parks. I mean, why do you think people are so cynical about the parks now? Why do you think attendance is down, as Pro's been reporting? Why do you think all these things are happening? It's definitely the economy. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but it's also the fact that you no longer have the benefits that you used to have in a Disney vacation. They've all been washed away.
I do think it's interesting that
think about the amount of money that you have to pay.
Go ahead, Ron.
Oh, I was just going to say the amount of money that you have to pay, coupled with the amount of planning that you have to do, coupled with the amount of now travel advisors that's become a big popular thing to become, because everybody absolutely needs a travel advisor, somebody to plan for them a Disney vacation. When I was growing up, you wanted to go to a theme park. You went to the theme park, you got in line, you rode the ride. That's it. And there's a segment of the population that's fine with completely over planning a vacation, and they want to have long itineraries. And absolutely, there's also about half the population that just wants to go show up at a theme park and have a good day. And if they know that they cannot do that at Walt Disney World anymore, they're not going to go, period. Doesn't matter how much it costs or how little it costs. They don't want to plan. They want to go and have a vacation.
They like to be spontaneous on their vacation. But another thing to add to that is, one water ride isn't really going to mitigate the heat in Florida all that much. I'm sorry. And honestly, even when Splash Mountain was up and running, we got to the point where we just kind of stopped going on it because, most of us didn't like being wet. And
it makes it worse.
It can. And if you really want to go on a ride that soaks you and you really want to cool off that way, well, just go to a water park or go to Cali River over in Animal Kingdom. But it's I don't know.
Erica, what do you think about Big Thunder being closed for an entire year or more for what we've heard is essentially cleaning up the track, smoothing the ride a little bit, but adding projector effects? I mean, we're not talking about how much,
I
go ahead, Erica.
I heard that they were going to completely retrack, that the ride is getting brand new tracks. Now, I don't know
Culture, have you
anything
heard that?
about.
Ron, have you heard that?
And
Not yet.
look,
I
this
haven't
was
heard.
rumored 4 or 5 years ago. Do you remember?
I
when
heard the
they?
lift. I heard the lift hill, but I had not heard the entire track. Go ahead, Culture.
Yeah. No. Would it surprise me if they'd done the lift hill? No, or if they do their lift hill? No, but again, I mean, are they gonna take the amount of time that it took to do just some simple track replacement before? Because, like you've pointed out, Pro, this is taking far too long to just do. You're talking about a few hundred hours of work, unless they're doing like reconstruction of elements like they had to do on Jungle Book. This is extraordinarily too long.
Are there any problematic elements on this ride, like the
there's
tribe?
Erica. Now you know that Billy Goat near the tumbleweed town that he needs lipstick. You know that.
Yeah, and it needs a rainbow like painted on his side too.
That's what they do though. When they close these rides, though, they do change this. We saw this with the Roger Rabbit ride in Disneyland. We just saw this with the Peter Pan's flight ride, where they changed the Native Americans there on that ride. That when they have these long closures, they do indeed.
They find ways to be offended, John. They find ways to be offended.
No, I agree with you, Pro. I think it's just to control. It's their way of controlling and manipulating. Because to Culture's point, it shouldn't take them a year to even retrack if they were going to go with brand new tracks. Because it's a relatively small coaster. It's not like you're redoing a coaster like Silver Star here at Europa Park or Blue Fire. That'd be a different story.
It's my speculation, but I'm sticking with it. They definitely, I think, want to increase the wait time for Tiana's to make it appear more popular than it is. Ron, I'll give you final word on this one.
No, well, I was going to say Big Thunder, for me at least, first of all, it's an extremely popular ride, but also for me at least right now, it's actually the best coaster. This is my opinion, I know, but it's the best coaster at Magic Kingdom. Space Mountain is old and very shaky and ugly. Tron, less than a minute. I mean, you're in it. You're in
48 seconds.
Tron is very picturesque from the outside. It's actually prettier as a piece of art than it is as a coaster. But Big Thunder is an extremely popular coaster. Every time you watch a live stream or a video about Magic Kingdom, it's always in there. People love to live stream it from YouTube, TikTok, whatever. It's extremely popular. So I'm assuming Stories Matter probably also found something problematic on it that they're going to change as well. And then they'll make a big deal about it too.
I'm also going to point out, well, for me, Big Thunder was the first roller coaster I ever had gone on as a kid. I had a fear of roller coasters to get over. And man, what a great way to break it, because that is a great ride.
Your way into it. Mine was Montu.
It's so fun. It's a fun ride. It's really one of the best rides at Walt Disney World, for real.
It's always sad when one of these video ends, and yet it is the beginning of the wait for the next one to land. 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. And by the way, there's plenty more on our partner channels, That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and go check out the original music we have on stations like Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you, love to entertain you. At least we'll do a better job than some of the current entertainment companies. Folks, like, share, subscribe, and you know what? Drop a comment right on down below. Share this out anywhere you go on social media. And until the next time, we have the honor, the pleasure of getting to spend time with you when you choose to invite us into your day to add the value that we hope to bring your way. We ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.